There's a Reddit thread from 2019 that got over 40,000 up. The title was simple. My cat woke me up at 3 a.m. staring at my bedroom door. There was nothing there. The comments were flooded with similar stories. Dogs barking at empty corners, cats fixated on blank walls, birds suddenly going silent and staring at the ceiling. Always at night, always at nothing. The most common explanation in the thread. Ghosts? But here's the thing. Your pet isn't seeing ghosts. They're seeing something far stranger. Something you can't perceive. Because the world your pet experiences isn't the same world you're living in. And at 3 a.m., when everything goes quiet, that difference becomes impossible to ignore. Let's start with the obvious. Your pet's senses aren't just better than yours. They're operating on a completely different spectrum. A dog can hear frequencies up to 65,000 hertz. You top out at around 20,000. That means there's an entire range of sound happening in your house right now that you're biologically incapable of detecting. Electrical hums from appliances, ultrasonic pest deterrents 2 houses down, the high-pitched whine of a phone charger, rodents communicating in the walls. You hear silence. Your dog hears a symphony. Cats are even more sensitive. Their hearing peaks at 64,000 hertz, and they can rotate their ears 180 degrees to pinpoint the exact location of a sound. When your cat snaps its head toward the corner of the room, it's not reacting to nothing. It's reacting to something you'll never hear. And at 3 a.m., when human activity drops too near zero, those sounds become the loudest thing in the house. Then there's vision. You've probably heard that dogs see in black and white. That's a myth. They see color, just not the same range you do. But here's what they see that you don't: ultraviolet light. In 2014, researchers discovered that dogs, cats, and many other mammals can see UV light that's completely invisible to humans. Your eyes filter it out. There's don't. That means your pet is seeing reflections, patterns, and movements you can't. The residue from cleaning products glows under UV. So do certain fabrics. So do biological fluids. Urine, for instance, lights up like a beacon. When your dog stares at the carpet where nothing's there, they might be seeing a UV trail from a mouse that passed through 3 days ago, or the faint glow of a spill you cleaned up last week but didn't fully remove. To them, the room isn't empty. It's painted with invisible information. Then there's motion detection. A cat's eyes have a structure called the tapetum. It's a reflective layer behind the retina that amplifies light. It's why their eyes glow in the dark. But it also means they can detect movement in near total darkness with 6 times the sensitivity of a human eye. You see a dark hallway. Your cat sees every shifting shadow, every tiny movement of air currents disturbing dust particles, every insect crawling across the ceiling, and movement triggers predatory focus. It doesn't matter if it's prey or not. The instinct kicks in. Stare, track, prepare. That's why your cat locks onto a spot on the wall at 3 a.m. and won't look away. There's something moving there. You just can't see it. But it's not just about what they see and hear. It's about what they feel. Dogs and cats can detect changes in barometric pressure, the kind that happens before a storm, or an earthquake, or even just a shift in weather patterns. In 2020, researchers in Germany found that dogs can sense the Earth's magnetic field. They align their bodies along the north-south axis when they're calm. When that field shifts, even slightly, they notice. Your house is full of electromagnetic fields, Wi-Fi, routers, electrical wiring. Appliances, most of them cycle on and off throughout the day. At night, when some devices go into low power mode or others kick on, the electromagnetic environment of your home changes. You don't feel it, your dog does. That might be why they wake up. Not because something entered the room, but because the room itself changed in a way their brain registers as significant. Then, there's smell. A dog has up to 300 million olfactory receptors. You have about 6 million. The part of their brain dedicated to analyzing smells is 40 times larger than yours, proportionally. They don't just smell better, they smell differently. They smell in layers. They can detect individual components of a scent and track how old it is based on how it's degraded. When you walk into your house, you might smell dinner. Your dog smells every ingredient in that dinner, plus the smell of everyone who's been in the house in the last 12 hours, plus the faint trace of a delivery person who stood at the door for 8 seconds that morning. At night, as temperatures drop, air currents in your house shift. Warm air rises. Cool air sinks. Scents trapped in carpet, furniture, and walls get released and your dog wakes up because the smell of the room just changed. A scent from another part of the house drifted in. Maybe it's benign. Maybe it's the scent of an animal outside. Either way, their brain flags it. Investigate sote stare, trying to locate the source of something you'll never smell. Here's where it gets even stranger. In 2017, a study found that dogs can sense time, not abstractly. Physically, they can smell how long ago something happened based on how scent molecules have dispersed and degraded. Cats have a similar ability with spatial memory. They build mental maps of their environment that include not just where things are, but where things were and where things should be. When your cat stares at an empty chair at 3 a.m., it might not be reacting to what's there. It might be reacting to what's not there. Something that's usually in that spot, or something that was in that spot earlier and has left a sensory trace. Their brain is detecting an anomaly, a deviation from the expected pattern, and that triggers alert behavior. Staring, listening, waiting. Then there's the predator instinct. Most pets are descendants of hunters. Dogs from wolves, cats from solitary ambush predators. Even domesticated, those instincts don't disappear. They just get redirected. In the wild, dawn and dusk are prime hunting times. But so is the middle of the night. That's when prey animals are most vulnerable, when predators are most active. Your pet's brain is still wired for that. At 3 a.m., when the house is dark and silent, their predatory instincts sharpen. They become hyper-aware. Every sound, every movement, every scent gets maximum attention. They're not scared. They're alert, in hunting mode. Scanning the environment for anything that moves, makes noise, or smells unfamiliar. And because their senses are so much more sensitive than yours, they're constantly finding things to lock onto. But here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. Sometimes they're reacting to you. Your breathing changes when you sleep. Your body temperature fluctuates. You move in ways you're not conscious of. You emit sounds, tiny ones, shifts in the bed, changes in your breathing pattern. Your pet hears all of it. And if something changes, if your breathing becomes irregular, if you shift position in a way that's unusual, their brain registers it. They wake up, they stare. Not at nothing, at you. Monitoring. Making sure you're okay. Because you're part of their pack. Their family, and keeping track of you, even while you sleep, is part of their instinct. So the next time your pet wakes you up at 3 a.m., staring at the corner of the room, understand this. They're not seeing ghosts. They're not hallucinating. They're not being weird. They're processing a world that's vastly richer, more complex, and more detailed than the one you perceive. A world full of sounds you can't hear, sights you can't see, smells you can't detect, and changes you can't feel. To you, the room is empty and silent. To them, it's alive with information, and sometimes that information is worth waking up for, even if you'll never know what it was.